Hello, everyone. My name is Rick Burke. I'm a partner with Televate. Thank you for joining us today. Today, I'm with my partner, Joe Ross, to explore the role that cell phones play in support of public safety push-to-talk voice communications. Welcome, Joe.
Thanks, Rick.
Joe,
Good to be here.
first responders often consider why they're very capable smartphones that can support push-to-talk communication and applications like the free Zello and Voxer PTT apps, or the for-fee PTT apps like ES Chat, Wave, and Beyond, why they cannot just switch to pure cell phones to support mission-critical communications.
Well, Rick, in a nutshell, while cellular solutions have made tremendous strides in the past 10 years, there's still some gaps. And most of those gaps cause public safety to rely predominantly on land mobile radio for push-to-talk voice.
What are some of those gaps, Joe?
Well, first, there's public safety grade. So public safety grade is 5 nines of service availability over the course of a year. Most cellular systems are not designed to public safety grade. They don't have permanent backup generators, such that when commercial power goes out, they're available for long periods of time and don't need to be shared among multiple sites. They also don't have redundant connections between their sites, so the connectivity to get back to all other users throughout the service area is not there. Some carriers are doing more than others. Some do a lot of backup generators. Most don't do the redundant connections between sites for all sites. They'll just do core sites, but generally they're not doing both. And then there's fallbacks. And with public safety radios, there's ability to do radio-to-radio communication at fairly high powers. It's also called talk around or simplex mode. There's some standards that are in place that may be able to do something like that, but there's currently no commercial solution for cell phones to do so.
Joe, have cellular solutions made progress in the past years?
They definitely have. So first and foremost, there's now priority for public safety for first responders on the networks like FirstNet's Band 14. Other carriers like Verizon and T-Mobile have network slices just for public safety. The carriers are making a lot of strides with regards to coverage, especially in rural areas. In the past, the coverage advantage for cellular was just in the urban areas where they had a lot more in-building coverage in general. Some public safety networks do have a lot of in-building coverage, but especially in rural areas, the cellular systems are closing the gap on where land mobile radio coverage is. But in many areas, cellular coverage rivals LMR today. There's also mission critical push to talk. This is a standard that was developed by the global community. So this is a worldwide standard that mimics the functionality of land mobile radio. And when communicating over mission critical push to talk, it gets the highest of priorities on the commercial network. And so that means that it's moving above other public safety traffic, such as video that might be streamed by law enforcement, or images, or location data, things of that nature. It gets the highest priority even over the other public safety traffic. And then there's an additional development where there's some radio vendors that have both the talk around capability as well as the mission critical push to talk over cellular networks. And so as those kinds of solutions come into fruition more, then there's going to be more opportunities for public safety to benefit from cellular networks.
Joe, as we've seen directly through our project experience, there have been some agencies that have gone purely with cellular-based solutions. Why is that? And will we start seeing more transition to cellular-based services for public safety?
So most of them that move to pure cellular solutions cite cost. They are employing solutions that do have form factors that are similar to land mobile radio portables and mobiles. So they look and behave and act just like mobiles and portables. But most agencies consider cellular as a supplement. We'll see more robust and more products come to market that offer this dual mode cellular and LMR, and that I think that we'll see more transition to cellular based services, but maybe not 100%. So there'll be continue to be supplements, but not replacements.
But in the meantime, how can public safety agencies benefit from cellular solutions?
Well, there's many agencies today that don't need mission critical communications. They don't need that public safety grade that can benefit from these cellular solutions. So like transportation and public works, they might need interoperability with land mobile radio. So the systems need to be interfaced, but they could operate over mission critical push to talk, get that priority and preemption over the cellular networks in times of need. Then there's first responder needs where they may need to go to an adjacent county to conduct some work. They can still keep in touch with their dispatchers, with other units in the field, or some may need to go to distant states. So they might have a prisoner transport from one state to another and need to be in contact with home the entire time. And then, as I mentioned earlier, areas not well served by land mobile radio, like inside buildings and tunnels, it just becomes a lot more affordable to serve in these ways rather than build expensive systems for small areas of coverage.
So, Joe, in providing that good overview of what's available today, what do you see happening in the future for cellular push-to-talk communications?
Well, there's a handful of radios that have this LTE and Wi-Fi connectivity. By the way, Wi-Fi is another big thing that's going to happen in the future. I see more and more radios have the capability for push-to-talk. So many of the radios of Wi-Fi just have the ability to program the radios over Wi-Fi, which is a great feature. But more and more radios hopefully will have both LTE and Wi-Fi connectivity to give this advantage of coverage extension of the system. Then satellite-based cell phone coverage direct to cell phones. So we have LEO-based broadband systems today, but in development are direct to cell phone satellite solutions that should be able to serve anywhere on the planet. We're going to tackle that subject more in a future video. There's also hybrid solutions to keep LMR with a backup of MCPTT, or some might decide to go primary with MCPTT, cellular-based MCPTT solutions with a backup land mobile radio solution. That might be something that becomes popular over time. But one of the things that's also happening is statewide and regional networks are picking up a lot of these situations where these mostly rural counties are deciding to go with cell solutions, and they can make LMR more affordable. So there's an existing statewide or regional network. It just needs to be expanded slightly, or maybe the statewide network already serves the county or the town that needs service. And so they can expand that network in a more affordable way to get land mobile radio public safety grade service. And what I see is that public safety is going to take a lot more advantage of cellular solutions in the future. Especially if once these satellite solutions come to fruition, there's parts of the country that even with land mobile radio, it's almost impossible to serve. And these satellite solutions might be a big help.
Thank you, Joe. Very informative and hopefully beneficial to our audience. And to our audience, thank you very much for joining this discussion. And please reach out to Televate if you have questions, you have additional information to contribute to this discussion, or just to say hello. Stay tuned for additional public safety communication discussions, and please go to Televate's YouTube page to subscribe and to review previous and future sessions. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.